The young Marine pulled into the gas station, exhausted from his 12-hour drive home. He was about to ignore the homeless man like everyone else did, until he saw something that made his blood run cold. A tattoo, a symbol that only one kind of warrior earns, and this old man wasn't supposed to be alive. Private Rodriguez had been driving since dawn, eager to get home for his 2-week leave. The gas station was one of those 24-hour places you find on lonely highways, fluorescent lights buzzing, coffee that tasted like motor oil, and the usual collection of night wanderers. As he filled his tank, Rodriguez noticed the homeless man sitting by the entrance, tattered military jacket, worn boots, a cardboard sign that read "Homeless Veteran. Anything helps." Most people walked past without making eye contact. Rodriguez had seen dozens like him near the base, but something made him look closer. The old man shifted position, and his jacket sleeve rolled up just enough to reveal the edge of a tattoo on his forearm. Rodriguez squinted in the harsh light. What he saw made his hands freeze on the gas pump. It was a Recon Marine tattoo. But not just any recon tattoo. This was the symbol of Force Reconnaissance, the elite of the elite, the same unit Rodriguez had studied in training, the same warriors whose stories were whispered in barracks across the world. But this particular design. Rodriguez had only seen it in one place. In the classified files of Operation Red Dawn. Rodriguez's mind raced. Operation Red Dawn was legendary among Marines. A mission so classified that most of the details were still sealed. A team of 12 Recon Marines had gone deep behind enemy lines in Afghanistan. Only 3 had made it out alive. The mission leader's name was Sergeant Major William Ghost Thompson. Rodriguez had memorized every detail of that man's service record during his advanced training. Thompson was a legend, Medal of Honor recipient, master sniper, the kind of Marine other Marines aspired to become. Thompson had been declared missing in action 3 years ago, presumed dead, but the tattoo on this homeless man's arm, it was Thompson's exact tattoo. Rodriguez had seen it in the briefing photos. A skull with crossed rifles and a single word underneath, invisible. Rodriguez finished pumping gas with shaking hands. He couldn't just walk away. Not from this. He approached the homeless man slowly. Up close, he could see the resemblance now, the same sharp eyes, the same jawline, just hidden under months of rough living and a gray beard. "Excuse me, sir," Rodriguez said quietly. The homeless man looked up, his eyes immediately assessing the young Marine with the practiced gaze of a professional soldier. "You need something, son?" the man asked. His voice was gravelly but carried the unmistakable authority Rodriguez had learned to recognize in veteran NCOs. Rodriguez hesitated, then pointed to the tattoo that was still partially visible. "That's a Force Recon tattoo, isn't it?" The old man's eyes hardened instantly. He pulled his sleeve down to cover the tattoo completely. "You're mistaken," he said firmly, but Rodriguez had spent 3 years learning to read people, learning to spot deception. This man was lying, and Rodriguez thought he knew why. "Sergeant Major Thompson," Rodriguez whispered. The effect was immediate. The homeless man's entire body went rigid. His eyes locked onto Rodriguez's face with laser focus. "That name means nothing to me," Thompson said, but his voice betrayed him. Rodriguez pulled out his military ID and handed it to Thompson. "Private First Class Miguel Rodriguez, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. I studied your missions in advanced training, sir. Operation Red Dawn, Operation Silent Thunder. You're supposed to be dead." Thompson stared at the ID for a long moment, then handed it back. When he looked up again, his eyes were different. Still guarded, but no longer hiding. "Dead is easier." "Sometimes," Thompson said quietly, "dead means people stop asking questions. Dead means you don't have to explain why you can't sleep, why crowds make you panic, why the sound of helicopters sends you diving for cover." Rodriguez felt his throat tighten. Here was one of the most decorated Marines in modern history sitting outside a gas station, begging for change. "Sir, what happened? How did you end up? Double quotes. Thompson held up a hand. PTSD doesn't care about your rank, son, doesn't care about your medals. I came back from that last mission different. The VA tried to help, but I couldn't handle the crowds, the paperwork, the questions, so I disappeared. Easier for everyone that way, but you're a hero, sir. You saved countless lives. You earned the Medal of Honor. Thompson's laugh was bitter. Heroes don't end up homeless, Rodriguez. Heroes adapt, heroes overcome. I just survived. For a moment, they sat in silence. Then Rodriguez made a decision that would change both their lives. Sir, I'm driving to Camp Pendleton. It's a 5-hour drive from here. Would you would you like a ride? Thompson studied the young Marine's face. Why would you do that? Because leaving you here isn't an option, sir. Because every Marine deserves better than this. And because double quotes, Rodriguez paused, then spoke from the heart. Because you're the reason I became a Marine in the first place. Your story inspired me to serve. Thompson was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. I haven't been called by my rank in 3 years. Then it's about time someone reminded you who you are. Sergeant Major. Thompson stood slowly, gathering his few possessions. As they walked toward Rodriguez's car, he stopped and looked back at the gas station where he'd spent so many nights. You know, Thompson said, I thought I was invisible out here. Thought nobody saw me. Rodriguez opened the passenger door for his former hero. Sir, true Marines are never invisible. Sometimes we just need someone to remind us that we're still worth seeing. As they drove away from the gas station, Thompson sat quietly in the passenger seat. For the first time in 3 years, he wasn't alone, and for the first time since coming home from his last mission, Sergeant Major William Thompson felt like he might actually make it home. Some stories don't have perfect endings, but sometimes they have new beginnings.